Every single game from this point forward is a final. That is not a metaphor. That is not dramatic language for a YouTube video. That is the exact message Mikel Arteta delivered to his players, his staff and every Arsenal supporter on the planet as the international break came to a close. Do or die, that is where we are right now. Arsenal sit at the top of the Premier League, 9 points clear of Manchester City, though City have a game in hand. They are still alive in the FA Cup. They are still competing in the Champions League. And despite suffering more individual injuries than any other club in the entire Premier League this season, they are still standing, still fighting and still believing. Welcome to Melissa, Arsenal Analyst. I am going to take you through everything happening around this football club right now, and I mean everything. The squad updates, the player stories, the transfer targets, the legends speaking out, and the cold, hard data that tells you exactly what kind of season Arsenal are really having. Stay with me because this one is going to be detailed and every single word matters. Before we go any further, let me make something crystal clear to you. The stakes right now could not be higher. Arsenal have not won the Premier League since the invincible season of 2004. That is over 20 years of waiting. And 3 times in recent seasons, this club has pushed hard, gone deep into the run-in, and then watched the title slip away. Gabriel Jesus himself spoke about this, and his words were powerful. He said that from February to the end of the season, the pressure stays on their heads. He mentioned the draw against Wolves, a team at the bottom of the table, and described how difficult those moments are mentally. But he also said that Arteta is very helpful with the team during those periods, helping them think clearly when the pressure builds. That context matters enormously because what we are about to break down is not just a football story. It is a story about a club on the edge of history with injuries piling up, key players missing, critics circling, and a manager who has built something genuinely remarkable, asking his team for one final push. If you want this level of detail every single week, hit that subscribe button right now. Melissa, Arsenal Analyst, covers every layer of this club, not just the headlines. Subscribe and let us get into it. The injury reality. Let us start with the truth that too many people have tried to ignore or dismiss. Arsenal have suffered 31 individual injuries in the Premier League this season. 31. That is the highest number of any club in the entire division. Chelsea are second with 26. Aston Villa and Leeds United follow with 25 each. Manchester City, Arsenal's closest title rivals, have recorded only 19 injuries this season. That gap is significant. That gap tells a story. And yet some voices in football media spent weeks suggesting that Arsenal were exaggerating their injury problems, that the club were crying wolf, that Arteta was using injuries as an excuse. The numbers do not support that narrative, not even slightly. The situation is not one of a few unlucky setbacks. The reality for the club is a relentless grinding, season-long chain of disruption. It started with a striker crisis so severe that midfielder Mikel Merino had to be used as a forward. By December, 4 defenders were simultaneously ruled out: William Saliba, Gabriel Magalhaes, Yorian Timber and summer signing Christian Mosquera. The knock-on effect of overplaying during that defensive crisis is likely connected to the subsequent injuries to Ben White and Ricardo Calafiori. Now, the club faces a midfield crisis. Eberechi Eze, who joined in the summer and immediately impressed, is out until at least the end of April with a calf injury. Martin Ødegaard, the club captain, has not played since February and has missed 26 matches across all competitions this season. 26 matches. For a player of his importance, that absence has been enormous. Martin Zubimendi was sent home by Spain during the international break with a knee injury. And Thomas Tuchel, the England manager, revealed that Declan Rice has been playing at only 70% capacity for a long time due to ongoing physical discomfort. The decision to allow Ethan Nominari to join Marseille on loan in January now looks at best unfortunate and at worst misjudged. With the current injury levels across the squad, that extra option in attacking midfield would have been valuable. What makes this even more impressive is that despite all of this, Arsenal remain top of the league. That is not luck, that is squad depth, tactical intelligence and a culture of resilience built by Arteta over several years. Arteta speaks. Arteta gave several key quotes during this period, and each one reveals something important about how he is approaching this run-in. On the mindset, heading into the final stretch, he was clear and direct. Every single game will be a final. He described the matches ahead as do or die and said the squad is excited and ready to start competing at that level. There is no caution in that language. There is intent. On the topic of set pieces, Arteta defended his approach with conviction. He pointed to the reality that around 33% of all goals in football are scored from set pieces, whether you score them or concede them. His message was simple. If you want to compete for every title, you have to master set pieces. The criticism of Arsenal's reliance on set pieces has never been justified when you look at it through that lens. Arteta is not using set pieces because he lacks ideas. He is using them because they work and because the data says they should be a priority for any serious title-contending team. On motivating his players, Arteta revealed the personal nature of his approach. He said he motivates each player differently, reading what they need individually and responding to it. He described building culture through day-to-day actions and the emotional connections within the group. This is not just management theory. This is a genuine philosophy that his own players confirm through their public statements. And when he spoke to the supporters directly, Arteta was calm, clear and confident. He told the fans to stay hopeful, stay positive, stay energised and cheer the team on. He said he is sure the club will achieve their goals this season. Those are not empty words. A manager who has won 3 consecutive Premier League runners-up finishes does not say those things carelessly. He says them because he believes them. The players speak, the voices coming from inside the Arsenal dressing room during this international break were remarkable in their consistency and their conviction. Martin Ødegaard, speaking while working his way back from injury, delivered a message of total focus. He said that if you ask anyone in the dressing room what the goal is, they will all give you the same answer: win the Premier League. He confirmed that the squad has spoken about it, made it their priority, and is working toward it every single day. With 7 games remaining, he said every match matters and that every player is ready to do whatever it takes. Norway head coach Ståle Solbakken also provided positive news on Ødegaard's physical condition. Hazem confirmed that the Arsenal captain is getting going and experiencing less and less pain, expressing confidence that Ødegaard could feature in one of Arsenal's upcoming matches very soon. For a club that has struggled enormously without him across 26 games, that update cannot be overstated in its importance. Gabriel Jesus gave multiple interviews during the break, and across each of them, his belief in this Arsenal squad came through powerfully. He said he is very confident in the title race because the team is in a good place with an amazing squad. He said he believes 100% that Arsenal are doing something special this season. He also made a deeply personal observation about Arteta and the club, noting that after 3 consecutive years of finishing second, the mental weight of that experience stays with everyone involved. His words carried genuine emotional honesty. Riccardo Calafiori also spoke publicly during the break, responding to fan reaction after he declined to sign a trophy card at an event. His explanation was straightforward and actually quite admirable. He said he is simply superstitious that Arsenal have not won anything yet and that there is no reason to celebrate something before it has actually been achieved. He promised to sign 1,000 of them once the trophy is won. He apologised if his refusal came across the wrong way, insisting he meant no disrespect. This is the mentality of a player who is focused, grounded and not taking anything for granted. Viktor Gyökeres returned from the international break in extraordinary form and mood. He scored a hat-trick against Ukraine and then scored the dramatic 88th-minute winner against Poland that sent Sweden to the 2026 World Cup. His father, Stefan Gyökeres, spoke publicly after that Poland victory and described the experience as complete madness, calling his son scary in front of goal and epic in the way he performed across both matches. Viktor himself, speaking after the break, said it is now time to bring that energy back to the club, to fight for titles and to score goals that truly matter. He added that he believes in himself and knows he has what it takes to help Arsenal win. Thomas Partey, who left Arsenal earlier this season, also spoke in a way that added further warmth to the picture of Arteta as a man and a manager. Partey revealed that the night before he left the club, Arteta sat down with him for what he described as a final coffee. He said Arteta spoke to him in a way he had never experienced before, like a father. Partey said he never wanted to leave, found the whole transfer process difficult, but in that final conversation came to understand that Arteta genuinely wanted the best for him. He closed by saying he adores Arteta and prays every day that he wins the league, calling him truly deserving of it. That is a powerful endorsement from a man who no longer has any professional reason to offer one. The data and the rankings, the statistical picture around Arsenal's key players this season adds important weight to the analysis. Gradient Sports released their overall grade rankings for the 2025-26 Premier League season, and the results were striking. Declan Rice ranks first in the entire Premier League with a score of 89.4, above Dominic Szoboszlai of Liverpool on 89.3, above Bruno Fernandes on 85.1, above James Garner and Iliman Ndiaye. The best individual performer in the entire English top flight, according to this grading system, is an Arsenal player. And he has been doing it, as Thomas Tuchel confirmed, at only 70% physical capacity. Bukayo Saka ranks 6th in the same system with a score of 84.0. A separate statistical comparison between Saka, Lamine Yamal of Barcelona and Vinicius Jr. of Real Madrid was shared during the break. The analysis noted that despite this being considered Saka's worst season at Arsenal, he continues to post elite underlying numbers. The analyst making the comparison made the point that Yamal would not replicate those numbers under the current Arteta system in the Premier League. That is a significant observation. Saka is being used like a workhorse, asked to carry enormous responsibility, especially during the periods when Ødegaard has been absent, and is still performing at a level that puts him among the best players in European football. Gabriel Martinelli's FA Cup numbers also deserve attention. The Emirates FA Cup official account highlighted that Martinelli has 5 goal contributions in just 3 FA Cup games this season, with 4 goals and 1 assist. That output in a cup competition while carrying the attacking burden during Ødegaard's absence speaks to a player who is finding form at exactly the right moment in the season. Gabriel Jesus made a surprising claim during the break when asked who Arsenal's best player is. His answer was not Saka, it was not Rice, it was not Gabriel Magalhaes. He said Martinelli. He explained that he first noticed Martinelli during a 2019 Copa America preparation session when Martinelli was just a teenager, and that from the moment he saw him at Arsenal training, he recognised the same player. Jesus described the details Martinelli brings to training and daily life as different, as something that sets him apart beyond just match performances. Coming from a teammate, that kind of recognition carries real weight. The FA Cup, the schedule and Myles Lewis-Skelly. Arsenal's next match is the FA Cup quarter-final away to Southampton on the 4th of April. The team news heading into that game is layered with significance. Southampton will be without Flynn Downes and Kuryu Matsuki, both suspended after picking up their second yellow cards of the FA Cup. Downes in particular is considered a significant absence for Southampton, while Matsuki's creative influence will also be missed. On the Arsenal side, 3 players are on yellow card warnings for the FA Cup: Christian Ødegaard, Ben White and Ricardo Calafiori. Any of those 3 picking up another booking would rule them out of a potential semi-final. Calafiori is expected to start regardless. The bigger story, however, surrounds Myles Lewis-Skelly. The 19-year-old has had an incredibly difficult season for game time. He has played only 1,298 minutes across all competitions and has made just 1 Premier League start. He has fallen behind both Calafiori and Piero Hincapié in the left-back pecking order. Reports have already suggested that Lewis-Skelly could be considered for a sale, and that context makes the Southampton game absolutely critical for his Arsenal future. During the international break, Lewis-Skelly was outstanding for the England under-19 team. He showed exactly the kind of quality and form that the situation demands from him. With Arsenal facing 12 injury doubts across the squad, he is in a strong position to earn a start, and the argument for starting him is compelling. Hincapié picked up an injury during international duty. Calafiori has had his own struggles in recent months. Lewis-Skelly has not complained publicly, has done well when given opportunities, and has continued developing at international level. The evidence suggests this is a moment that will define his Arsenal career. If Arteta starts him and he performs, it signals that the manager still believes in him and that the club has a future for him at the Emirates. If he is left on the bench again in these circumstances, the conclusion is difficult to avoid. A move away would become the most realistic outcome, and that would be a painful loss for a club that invested so much in developing him through its academy. Young players need minutes to grow. Without them, their development stalls. The Southampton game is his window. Looking beyond that game, the April schedule as a whole is extraordinary. 6 fixtures across 3 competitions. Southampton in the FA Cup, Sporting CP twice in the Champions League, Bournemouth, Manchester City and Newcastle in the Premier League. The point is accurate and important. Arsenal's fate in this season will be decided in April, not in May. The voices from outside, several significant voices from outside the club, also spoke during this period, and their words add important context. Thierry Henry, the all-time Arsenal great, addressed 2 separate topics. On the Carabao Cup final defeat to Manchester City, he said City deserved to win based on what they needed to prove, given their Premier League struggles, and that it was unfortunate for Arsenal. He acknowledged that the players were visibly disappointed after the game, noting that losing a final is never easy. But his message was clear: move on, focus on the league, the Champions League and the FA Cup, and make sure that when Arsenal face City again at the Etihad, they put things right. On Martin Zubimendi, Henry pushed back against the critics targeting the Spanish midfielder. He noted that people always find someone to criticise, from Saka to Odegaard to Gyökeres. He compared the early uncertainty around Zubimendi to the early doubts people had about Rodri when he first arrived in the Premier League. His advice to Zubimendi was to embrace the criticism, use it as motivation and show something at the end that proves people wrong. Coming from a player who experienced intense scrutiny throughout his own career, that guidance carries genuine credibility. Former Arsenal captain William Gallas was asked directly whether he thinks Arsenal can win the treble this season. His answer was measured. He said he believes Arsenal will win the Premier League and that from their current position they normally would. He expressed doubt about the Champions League. On the FA Cup, he said everything depends on the semi-final draw, specifically whether Arsenal face Liverpool or Manchester City in the final. He said Arsenal would beat Liverpool in a final because Liverpool's style suits Arsenal better, but he does not think Arsenal would beat Manchester City in a final. England assistant manager Anthony Barry gave perhaps the most emphatic external endorsement of Arteta and Arsenal during the break. He said directly to BBC Sport that he is completely in awe of what Arsenal are doing and what Arteta has built. He praised the team's personality, the group culture and the way they have played throughout the season. He said he would not agree with anyone who speaks negatively about them. For the England assistant manager, working closely with many of Arsenal's international players, to speak in those terms is not a throwaway comment. It is a serious professional assessment. The transfer picture, beyond the immediate season, the transfer stories beginning to circulate around Arsenal deserve attention, though it is important to be clear about what is confirmed and what remains at the level of rumour. Arsenal are reportedly interested in Julian Álvarez of Atletico Madrid. The situation is that the club is understood to be well positioned to pursue a deal should an opportunity arise. However, any potential move would require a substantial fee. That is a rumour at this stage. Nothing has been confirmed and no formal approach has been made. Arsenal are also reportedly showing interest in Joey Veerman, the 26-year-old PSV Eindhoven midfielder. Veerman has impressed with his creativity and control in midfield and has attracted attention from multiple top European clubs. Arsenal have not made a formal bid. He is on their radar, but nothing beyond that has been confirmed. The situation around Gonzalo García of Real Madrid is also at the rumour stage. Arsenal are reportedly interested in strengthening their attack and are said to be open to selling Gabriel Jesus for around €25 million to create space in the squad. Newcastle United are also monitoring García. Again, this is a rumour. No formal offer has been made by any party. The most eye-catching transfer story of the break involves a 16-year-old Brazilian winger from Palmeiras named Eduardo Conceição. Arsenal are reportedly among several top clubs who have approached Palmeiras about the player, who is described as a dynamic left-sided attacker known for his pace, flair and direct dribbling. He has 8 goal contributions in 13 appearances in the young 2026 season. Palmeiras rejected early offers and now value the youngster at around €60 million. This is again a rumour, but the profile of the player and the reported level of interest across top European clubs suggest his name will continue to grow. Let me bring everything together for you now. Arsenal are at the top of the Premier League with 7 games remaining. They are competing in the FA Cup and the Champions League. They have suffered more injuries than any other club in the division this season. Their captain has missed 26 games. Their most important summer signing in the attacking midfield position is out until at least the end of April. Their striker is playing at 70% physical capacity, and yet Declan Rice is the top-ranked player in the entire Premier League this season. Bukayo Saka ranks 6th despite operating below his best levels. Gabriel Martinelli is producing outstanding numbers in the FA Cup at precisely the right moment. Victor Gyökeres has returned from the international break with a hat-trick and a World Cup qualifier winner to his name, full of energy and belief. Martin Ødegaard is getting closer to returning, with his national team coach expressing genuine confidence. And the entire dressing room, from the captain to the Brazilian striker to the Italian defender who will not sign a trophy card until the trophy is actually won, is completely aligned. The criticism of Arteta has been loud this season. His tactics have been called cautious. His set-piece reliance has been mocked. His injury management has been questioned. And through all of it, Arsenal have stayed top of the league. The data says they have had the hardest injury run of any club. The data says their best player is ranked 1st in the league. The voices from inside the club say winning the Premier League is the only goal. The voices from outside, including former players, current international staff and statistical analysts, say what Arsenal have achieved this season in these circumstances is genuinely impressive. 6 games in April, 3 competitions, every single one a final. The evidence suggests Arsenal are ready. This has been Melissa, Arsenal analyst. If this level of detailed, honest analysis is what you want every week throughout this run-in, please subscribe, hit the notification bell and share this video with every Arsenal supporter you know. The run-in starts now. Let us see it through together.